Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can take advantage of your credit cards and other financial products in times of economic uncertainty, or even if you find yourself in between jobs. So, of course, we'll break down some strategies, some things to keep in mind, and of course, dispel some rumors as we go. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, when it comes down to it, if you're watching this, late 2022, early 2023, then it's no stranger that, the interest rates are going up, economy kind of sort of messed up right now, that, especially if you're like me and you worked in the mortgage industry, finance industry, then, you definitely got run through pretty hard, so much so that I myself find myself in between actual day jobs at this moment, still on the internet, but the things I would normally do when I'm not on the internet. Now, this isn't necessarily like, oh, no, you feel bad for me. Trust me, we're good. This channel makes money. We have the other channel. I got a decent check to basically go home and find another job. So, it is quite all right. But number one, should always, be a level of transparency with the audience. And this is what actually got me thinking about this topic. Now, number two here is that, generally when you think about credit cards, they get, such a bad rap. Like, you're going to get so much debt and everything. People living off their credit cards in times like this. But it doesn't necessarily have to go that way, because like most things, credit cards are simply a financial tool, and like most tools, if you use them the correct way, you get good results, and if you don't, vice versa. So we're going to run through some thoughts that I had, an outline, if you will, suggestions, things that may help, as you get through this time. But of course, this is one of those videos I hope you don't have to watch, other than for entertainment purposes only. So with that, no particular order, the first one I want to talk about is annual fees. Now, annual fees, I think it's important to talk about because a lot of the most popular cards do have annual fees. And, it's still an expense, right? Now, we talk a lot about effective annual fees. What effective annual fee means is you take the Sapphire Reserve, it's like $550. Well, they say it's an effective annual fee of $250 because that $300 travel credit can be used so easily and you'll get the money back, which, yes, technically is true, but, again, considering the spot where you're in at the moment, you don't want any extra expenses, right? You don't really want to tie up $550 in a credit card. They could easily go to something else, right? If the goal is, to kind of conserve resources. So, for me, I would say, you don't even bother playing the effective annual fee game. Take a look at your options with that card. So, if the annual fee is coming due, then, I would probably say either look to downgrade it. So our Sapphire Reserve example, if you still want to keep it, you can downgrade it to an OG Freedom card, and I'll link some videos down below on upgrading and downgrading cards. You could do that, and that avoids the annual fee altogether. Unfortunately, if it's a card like, Platinum card that doesn't have a no annual fee downgrade, well, you can still cancel that card, and you can apply for it again later. Now, you won't get the bonus, but again, with the Platinum example, you could still get the Schwab Platinum next, or the Morgan Stanley next, or something like that. It really just means you can get the card again, you just can't get the bonus on that same exact card, for example. But I think that's going to be the better option than trying to play the coupon game or the getting my, positive expected value, given where you're at this go around. Now, with that, the next one here is going to be points. And again, it sounds silly, but I was doing a quick inventory of where I was at, everything on hand, and I have like 360,000 Chase points, which is a lot. So I go $3,060, but some of us end up in a bad habit, clearly myself included, where you just kind of stack up these points and you never actually cash them out. But they're absolutely a resource, and now is as good a time to any to take advantage of any resource you have if you need it. Again, their points are counted as a rebate, so there's no taxes on them. So I would go through all my cards. Of course, I would start with the cash back ones and kind of redeem points as I needed them. You could also look to bring in other strategies. Again, some of the Chase cards have the pay yourself back feature, that could help potentially make those points worth even more on certain categories. I think dining's in there, for example. Even if you have the Amex cards, yes, MR points, you're not necessarily supposed to cash them out because it's a 0.6 cents a point, but you could mess around with getting one of the Amex bank accounts, right? Because you get one of the Amex personal accounts, I believe you can cash them out for 0.8 cents. I think so that helps you a little bit. And again, no, it's not the best valuation in the world, but again, that's not really the point of what we're going for here. So I would still remember the points you have. Now, in addition to that, if you're talking about new credit cards, right, it becomes a little bit of a gray area of like, can you actually get new credit cards? There's definitely reasons you'd still want them, and we'll talk about them. So my understanding is that yes, you can still apply for brand new credit cards, right? Again, they're asking for stated income, but they're going to pull, credit, but credit doesn't, bring them job history, right? The bank's not getting that. There's also an argument to be made, especially if you're player one, player two, or you have someone else in your household. As long as you have like reasonable access to income, that should count. So I'm not outright going to tell you how to answer the income source question, but you should still be able to get new credit cards if you were getting credit cards prior to this. And the reason you'd want to get new credit cards is for a few different reasons. Because again, you still have money to spend. So in this case, you're still going to have to go to the grocery store. So it could still make sense to pick up, I don't know, a Freedom Flex card that's going to give you the bonus at the time is, the grocery one, 5% back on up to $12,000 in spend for your first year at a grocery store. Again, 5% is going to help out a lot. There's still a sign-up bonus to get. So you can look for cards like that because you're still going to have to spend and still, a type of income, if you will, or type to offset the expenses. The other big reason here is that most new credit cards do come with like a 0% intro APR on purchases and balance transfers for about the first year. Now, there's cards that are focused on this, like the White Bank of America card, the Bank of America card, I think it is. There's no multipliers, but it'll give you 18, 21 months, something like that, for 0% APR. The Freedom Flex we just talked about, that's probably going to give you 0% for the first year. Now, this is where you really have to be careful at. But if you're like, it's getting a little bit uncomfortable, getting a little tight, you can absolutely get one of these cards and say, okay, I will still have to pay the minimum, right? Like whatever your minimum payment is, I believe you have to pay that each month. But I'm going to have 0% interest for the first year, and that can be a tool to kind of help you float along. Again, it's not the most ideal thing in the world, but those offers exist for a reason. The real deal here is just to be careful with them. One, not let it get out of hand, because you basically have to treat it like an 11th month offer because you don't want that balance to be on your account on the 12th month when all that interest comes due. So, again, if it went longer than a year, then you're talking about, basically just running it back and doing a balance transfer. Now, there are cards out there. There's a ton of balance transfer cards out there. I actually believe the First Tech Federal Credit Union cards have balance transfers, but interestingly enough, they don't charge a balance transfer fee, which could be some cards to keep in your back pocket, for example. So, another good tip there. Now, also, there's one more here that's, of course, kind of a shameless plug, but another financial tool we have at our disposal that we mentioned a little bit up front, and that is bank account bonuses. Yes, I have another channel dedicated to bank account bonuses, but, some of these bonuses, yes, they do take direct deposits to, generate money or have the bonus payout. But there are others that don't. So the bonuses that require direct deposits, oftentimes they can be spoofed. So if you go through comments on Dr. Credit and things like that, it may say direct deposit, but really doing an ACH from a brokerage account or a business account may trigger the bonus. Similarly, there are also bank accounts like Upgrade, where Upgrade is saying, hey, we'll give you $100 for 3 debit card swipes. So really, you open the account, you transfer over, I don't know, maybe $10, do 3 $1 Amazon reloads, and you're good to go. Just like that, you've got $100, and it doesn't sound like much, but again, the point here is to just get as much easy money as we can to kind of float through this time and make it as bearable as possible. And so, again, those are some, financial tools you can use. We talked about potentially the Amex bank account, making your MR points worth a little bit more. Now, again, none of this is necessarily ideal, but I think the point is to dispel the rumor that, oh no, these banking products, I have to avoid them at all costs because I'm going to be in trouble if I use them. You can absolutely be in trouble. You can definitely use them the wrong way, but if we use them responsibly as tools, I think there's value to be had to kind of get you through to whenever you find that next job or whatever it may be. So these are some of the things that I ran through in my head when I went through it. Now, again, overall, like I said, appreciate the concern, but I'm totally fine. But I did, I know a lot of people in mortgage banking, a lot of people I see stories, things like that, in just other industries, not just mortgage banking. So I did think this could potentially be a helpful video, unfortunately, but hey, might as well put out the information in hopes it helps someone. So, of course, guys, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. Found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Question for you guys is, let me know some of your other financial strategies down below. What other tools are you able to take advantage of to kind of help weather the storm till we're back out of it into hopefully a much better economy? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and talk to you very soon in the next one.